So if you buy used jeans at thrift stores and sell them online, you probably noticed that the average selling price is only in the $20 to $30 range. But in today's video, I'm going to show you some brands and styles of jeans that sell for above average. Alright, first brand up is Rule number 925, and it's the Van Damme style or cut. And these sold for $44.75 plus shipping. These took about 2 months to sell. So some of these do not sell for good money in the Rule brand. So always do your comps to make sure you have the proper ones. Okay, here's a good brand. The brand is called Tecovas. It's kind of like a Western wear. Even though some of them are just very plain looking, they sell for good money. I have found a few of these throughout the years. And this brand right here, Tecovas, this was just the standard cut. Sold for $45 plus shipping. It took about 1 month to sell. Okay, here's a very expensive brand when they're new. It's called Robin's Jean. They're made in Los Angeles, California, so they're USA made. Doesn't make them vintage, they're just made in the US. They're very expensive. Some of them are like $200, $300, $400 brand new. Used, these ones sold for $38. I took an offer. They weren't selling for some reason. It just might have been the style or the fade on them or I don't know what. But I let them go cheap. Typically they can sell $40 upwards of $100. So embellishments, they have like studs on them, especially on the rear pockets. That's an easy way to spot them. Here's a picture of their logo. It's kind of like angel wings, Robin's Jean. So keep an eye out for these. Here's a brand everybody's heard of, Brooks Brothers. This is the Brooks Brothers 1818 in a Supima cotton. These jeans sold for $36.75. Not big money, but it's definitely above that $20 to $30 average. And if you're only getting jeans used for a couple of dollars in a thrift store, it's well worth the pickup. Vintage sells well across all categories. I love finding, and I find often, vintage Levi's. This was a pair from the 1980s. It was an orange tab for the 509s. And these sold for $44.75 plus shipping. Now, vintage Levi's, typically you find them, they go back into the 40s, but I have found them mostly in the 80s and 90s when I do find vintage. There's a lot of different ways of looking up the style numbers. The codes on the back of the tabs inside have dates. It's a little tricky to read a lot of them. Soon I'm going to put a video on that. But these were from the 80s, orange tab. If you see orange tab, automatically tells you right there that they're vintage, because they don't make orange tabs modern days. So keep an eye out for those. Okay, here's a pair of Levi's from the 70s. These were women's 646, and they were bell bottom with an orange tab. And I knew they were 70s by the style of the care tag inside and by the date code on it. So these sold, I had them listed for upwards of like $85, and I took an offer of $65. Some vintage Levi's can go for a lot of money, depends on the style and the year. So keep an eye out for those vintage Levi's. They're very popular, even if they're distressed. You don't want necessarily dirty, but if they got rips and tears, whether it's on the ankle, right on the hem, on the ankle, from the back, or from the thighs being torn, holes, people like that style. Don't be afraid of that. Alright, here's a brand. I actually got the shirt on right now. Polo Ralph Lauren. This was a heavy type of canvas feeling pants, almost like a Carhartt type material. And these sold for $45 on an offer. Had them listed for $55. Polo Ralph Lauren, they make all style of clothing. So keep an eye out for them and always run your comps. And here's a brand that I've shown it before. I've only found this 2 or 3 times over the years. It's called Rogue Territory. Here's a picture of their label. I believe they're made in the United States. And this pair, the arcade trousers, I sold on an offer for $50. So that's a really good price on a pair of jeans that you pick up for a couple bucks at a thrift store. So keep an eye out for Rogue Territory. Okay, so that's just a handful of styles and brands of jeans that sell for above average prices. So if you see these, pick them up as long as your buy cost is right and you ran proper comps ahead of time, and you can make yourself some money. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.